Hello, Scorpio. It's Haley with Tarot from Beyond, here to provide you with your September 1st through 7th reading. I know it looks like I'm doing readings back to back as I explained to all zodiacs with the September 1st through 7th readings. And the reason why I did that is because I wanted your general readings for September to occur during the time of the full moon, where you had the opportunity to set your intentions with that energy associated with the full moon. Now, I would like to explain to you what types of energies you may be running into coming into September. It's all about purging things out of our lives to make room for the things in our lives that do belong. So let's see where a lot of you are. Introspection. 5 of Cups. The Tower. Happy home. 10 of Cups. The Sun, which is a major arcana. And the Hierophant. Okay, my loves, so here's what I'm seeing. I am seeing that a lot of you are looking at yourselves on the inside the way that you're supposed to, so that you could recognize that voice within that corrects you when you're right. Corrects you when you're wrong, and gives you that validation when you're right. That's your higher self talking to you. We make conscious decisions all the time, right? But then you ever notice that voice behind your conscious decisions that says, wait a minute, I shouldn't have did that. Or wait a minute, I think I did an excellent job with the way I did that. That's your higher voice. It's the voice that corrects you when you're wrong and the voice that praises you when you're right. That's your higher self, for those of you who don't know or know how to recognize that voice. The better in tune you are with yourself, the better you'll be able to recognize that voice and pay attention to it every second of the day. And the better you're able to communicate with yourself by spending time alone with yourself and being able to say, hey, what is it that I want? What is it that I don't want? And then answering that question, like literally out loud to yourself, and then listen to your higher self after that as to what your higher self is really communicating to you based on what it is that you're desiring. Because your higher self is going to lead you in the right direction. And that's why that relationship with ourself is so important. So I feel like a lot of you Scorpio have had that conversation with yourself, or you're having it now. You're going through that process. And that process is going to lead you to walking away from a lot of things and people and situations in your life that no longer serve you, because your vibration is now lifted. And when your vibration is lifted, you recognize the people around you whose vibrations are much lower than yours, and you know that these people whose vibrations are lower than yours are people who have not done the same amount of work spiritually that you have. So now you guys, are serving different purposes with regards to your objectives, which, very much changes your perception, of that individual. And rightly so. It's not so much judging them. It's basically saying, I'm not judging you. It's just I'm determining who I want in my life and what I want in my life, because I know who's going to assist me, in my growth, and I know who's not. And I'm going to have the funeral over relationships, that just no longer serve me, because these people we're growing apart. And that's just really the bottom line. And so a lot of times separating from things that were once a familiar path for us, once we make that separation and once we take that brave step towards saying, you know what, this belongs, this does not. When you actually are brave enough to do that, then, what happens is you do have that moment of feeling like, you know what? The foundation that I set with these people or whatever, it wasn't solid. and I want a more solid foundation. So it all has to come down, and that's okay. Don't hate the Tower card, because when you see the Tower card, you know what's going to follow is happiness immediately, because things have to be restructured within you and externally in order for you to see the changes that you want to see. It's necessary. So once you make those changes, you guys are going to be able to identify the things in your home that either belong or don't belong. Some of you are in very healthy relationships that are thriving and they're only going to get better. And some of you are in relationships that are likely, running out of time, and you're noticing that, and you're going to have to make some difficult decisions because, it doesn't matter if you've been with somebody for 20 years. It doesn't mean that all 20 years were good years that actually had something to offer you. That could have been 20 years of abuse. That could have been 20 years of holding you back from something that was really meant for you. But you had to see it on your own, and now you do. So it's going to result in happiness. The sun represents happiness and also represents illuminating the real way that this works, the real way that life works, and how we're able to create the lives that we want. And we realize, this illuminates, the process. There is some restructuring that has to come about externally and internally for us to reach the goals that we've set for ourselves. The Hierophant represents either, higher organizations, higher education. It represents commitment. It represents contracts. It represents things of that nature. So for those of you who are going into business or have some types of careers that require the signing of documents to close deals and to bring better things into your life, I feel for a lot of you, you're going to get those deals and you're going to get those contracts, and it's going to be a pivotal place for you because you're now committing to yourself and you're now committing to what it is that you want to do in your life. You're now committing to what you really want to see in life, and you're ready to make the changes that are necessary, at this point, because you're just really tired of the F shit, right? You're really tired of the crap, that you've been experiencing with people in the past. You're really I almost sense that you're tired of the crap that you've allowed. I feel as though some of you are taking full responsibility for the relationships that you've allowed yourself to enter into, that you now see no longer serve you, and that's okay. That doesn't mean play the blame game with yourself or any of that, because everything that we do in life is an experience. And the whole point of the experience is for us to learn more so that we could move forward with more knowledge, and so that we could move forward more gracefully and more fluid and more prepared for what we will be dealing with in the future, which are very beautiful things when you make the right choices now. When you plant the right seeds now, come spring, I'm telling you, you're going to see everything that you want to see in that big old field that you planted and plowed and did all that work and planted all those seeds and all those positive seeds by getting rid of all those weeds and all those things and all those caterpillars and things that were eating your crops. And you understand what I'm saying? You did the work by actually making those difficult steps towards saying, hey, I know for a fact that you in particular do not serve a purpose in my life that is positive. And as a result, I'm restructuring my life. And if that comes with a little discomfort, I'm down for it. I'm here for it because I know where it's going to lead me. It's going to lead me to be the Hierophant Pope for other people, actually. The Hierophant Pope is somebody who knows more than you, somebody that you can go to for advice, somebody that you can go to who knows more than you. I feel as though for some of you, Scorpio, you guys are going to be the Hierophant for a lot of other people. You're going to be the one who actually knows how to help other people. And you're going to have the energy to do it, and you're going to have the confidence to do it, and it's just going to be, everything's just going to fall into place once you get rid of the things that no longer serve you, because you have no idea how much of an impact people in our lives have that don't, work on themselves the way that you are. Their journeys are different than yours. And there always comes a time sometimes with people, I don't care how long you've known them, I don't care who they are, where it's just like time to split and it's time to grow. So let's see what else is going on. Justice. That means fairness. The King of Swords represents somebody like a police officer, someone who thinks precisely. The Eight of Pentacles represents an apprentice who is working really hard on his craft. Judgment represents the fact that something has to end in order for something to begin. The Nine of Wands represents working really hard and almost sometimes getting to the point where you feel like you want to give up. But you know what? You have to get to this point in order to get to this point, in order for the burdens to end, for your new beginning to come. So I'm telling you, for those of you who feel like you are just working your asses off and you're not seeing the results that you want, and it just doesn't feel fair, even though you've been thinking precisely and policing your actions, very precisely so that you can see the results that you want. I'm letting you know, all the work that you've been putting in, don't you dare think for 1 second that it's not going to come through for you. It's going to come through for you. Hard work yields a great harvest. The Queen of Wands energy is someone, in this particular context, to me it represents, if you look at that cat in front of her, this is someone who has some strong spiritual abilities. This Queen of Wands understands the cause and effects of her actions. And she's very meticulous about how she chooses to act, because she's a queen and she knows that her actions affect not only just herself, but several other people who depend on her to make the right choices. And then you pull the Ace of Wands, which is a new beginning, a new exciting beginning with regards to work and career and whatever it is that you want to apply it to. I feel as though some of you are, or a lot of you are carrying the Queen of Swords energy as well, which means that you have been there and done that. And that's why you guys are at that point where you're just like, you know what? I'm willing to go through whatever emotions I need to go through, because I'm not going to keep repeating these cycles with people. I'm not going to keep repeating these cycles that are leading me nowhere, or that are not leading me to the place that I want to be and that I know that I deserve to be. The Queen of Swords has been through it all. She's been through all the backstabbing. She's been through all of the losses. She's been through all, she's dealt with a lot. And that is what's made her so knowledgeable. She's experienced so much, that she's attained so much knowledge that she knows how to move forward precisely. So with regards to your relationships, let's see what's going on. It looks like you might end up, meeting somebody that might actually assist you in maintaining, a continuous cash flow. The Page of Pentacles is a messenger of money, a messenger of, an opportunity to make money. And I feel as though you're going to have, spiritual unions don't necessarily have to mean intimate relationships, but you can have a very close relationship or a partnership with someone that you can actually make money with, and that's what I'm feeling there. But I see that you've walked away. I see that you've maybe walked away from possibly a spiritual union because you said, you know what, I'm choosing my career. I'm choosing my financial stability right now because I'm tired of just looking at hot dogs in my refrigerator. I'm sick of that. And if being in this relationship with you is always going to result in lack, not that I define myself in lack, but if it's always going to mean that I'm going to come up short and that I'm dealing with somebody immature, this could also mean I'm also dealing with somebody immature with regards to how they view funds and how they view money. I know I have to walk away from a partner who looks at money this way, because the Page of Pentacles is simply the messenger of money. It's not really, the master of money. So I feel like some of you may be in relationships with somebody whose dreams are like that. They're not shooting for the stars like you are. And that's why you're walking away, because that's, relationships and money are strongly tied together. That's one thing I have realized throughout the course of my, career in doing this. I've realized very much so that relationships have a lot to do, with our money and with our, with our thought process and with where we are, internally within our, it has everything to do with the way that we think and how confident we are. The relationships that we're in and the company that we keep have a lot to do with our ability to feel as though we can even achieve the things that we envision for ourselves. So maybe some of you were in some spiritual unions with some people that just refuse to shoot as high as you've been trying to help them understand that they can shoot. But, the person that you were with was thinking too small and you were like, I love you very much. However, this thought process that you have is going to hinder me at the end of the day. And it's not that I'm picking money over love, it's that I'm picking me. I'm picking me is what I feel like you're saying. I'm picking me. It's time for me to do what I need to do for me so that I can see what I'm about and so that I can prove to myself who I am. And if that means walking away from love because we no longer have anything in common with regards to our goals and ambitions and objectives, then so be it. I feel like a lot of you Scorpio are like, you know what? I'm either going to shit or get off the pot, basically. A lot of you are like, you know what? I'm not going to deal with not being where I want to be anymore. And I'm willing to do what it takes to get to where I want to go. So in closing you out, Scorpio, this means speed, communication, or travel. This means moving on. And this means, defending yourself. And so what I'm feeling is that you're going to communicate to a lot of people, not just, somebody that you may be in a spiritual union with, anybody and everybody that may have the potential to get in the way of your dreams. I feel that you're going to be communicating with them that, look, I'm moving on from you. I can't, excuse me, it's not that I can't, I won't stick around and be in your presence because your presence and your energy has an effect on my thought process. And I can't allow that. I have to defend myself against, people who are just not quite on my level, excuse me, and who don't share the same objectives that I have. I'm going to defend myself against being around people that I know have hindered me in the past, and I'm not going to let it happen in the future. And I feel as though that is what a lot of you will be facing in September. So I really commend you because it's a brave move and it's a solid move. I feel as though a lot of you are very confident in the choices that you guys are making right now. And I feel as though you see and you have a vision of what it is that you want to do. And you know that it's coming. You could taste it. You could feel it. I mean, it's like right there, and you're not going to let anybody stop you from reaching your goals. You're just not. And so with that being said, Keep going, Scorpio, because I'm telling you, you're really close to where you're about to go. Because, purging is a big part of growth. And it's not easy to do, but when you do it, I promise you, you leave the room for the positive things that a lot of the negative people and things externally in your life were occupying. So when you say you may no longer occupy this space in my life, what you're doing is you're leaving room for the positive things that you've worked your ass off for so that you can see them and you can actually reach the goals that you want to reach, Scorpio. So I'm telling you, you just keep doing what you're doing and it's going down, okay? Because you earned it. You earned it. So expect it. All right? So I will talk to you soon, Scorpio.